Hi, thanks for joining for the very first episode of the Get Serious podcast. I'm Chris Duff. You may know me from Serious Land Capital, one of the largest vacant land funding partner companies in the industry, or the soon to be released land price or AI software. This podcast idea has been in the works for a while. I mean, no surprise how many other folks have been starting podcasts here. I really needed to figure out how to make, you know, regular content in a sustainable fashion, given um, how much day-to-day responsibilities I'm juggling across our various entities within the land industry here. So I really settled on, can I do 10 to 15 minute daily doses, at least weekday doses of high value add content for other folks in the land industry or just, entrepreneurship writ large. Um, I've found that when I go to various masterminds or other group events, and everybody can kind of get past the facade of maybe wanting to one up or make things look better than they are. Once we can actually dive into the real numbers of where folks are at and where they're doing well or where they're struggling, those tend to be the most helpful types of conversations and leveling up as a group. So, I have, been establishing a reputation, myself and my partners, of, sharing a pretty open kimono about precisely how we operate our business, how we approach deals, and so forth. That has built up a solid reputation for us. So, I want to take that a step further with not necessarily discussing pure deal related information and various strategies and tactics, but also what's going on within our business and how we're seeking to grow at the moment. And, I also think this format will be helpful, just, given the inundation of podcasts. There's more seemingly, every week here. I've been listening to podcasts for years, so I totally get it where, you may want to listen to another one, but almost feel some level of anxiety about, oh gosh, I'm going to budget another hour, and I'm already listening to these things on 2x or more speed. So I want to kind of reduce that level of anxiety by knowing, okay, I'm just going to be giving you some bite-sized chunks on the daily here. That'll just make the consumption a bit easier. Who knows where this thing might grow. Occasionally I might engage in some interviews with folks who are relevant to topics that I might be actively discussing and so forth. But I think the general format will be more of this open kimono sharing about various updates within our business, lessons learned, and attempted value add for other business owners within the industry here. And based on feedback, we'll see how it might evolve over time. And just a little bit more of my impetus for starting this podcast is just also realizing how to, as we attempt to grow, how do I play to my strengths even further here? And one key thing that I keep coming back to is just, I tend to thrive within a structure. And even when I'm kind of like railing against the walls of that structure, it still tends to put me in a better place here. To make that more concrete, before having a kid, currently I have a 2-year-old daughter. I was always so concerned, oh man, this is going to be such a strain professionally, and all the fears that go into that. I think any working parent could relate to. But I actually found it to be the opposite. Once you have that forced imposition of a child's schedule on your own life, it just forces you to be much more ruthlessly efficient in terms of your focus and schedule. And counterintuitively, I've never been in a better place personally or professionally since becoming a parent, and I attribute a lot of that to having the inbuilt structure that a kid brings to your life. So I wanted to take that a step further by, okay, if I'm going to have to deliver effectively daily value add updates via podcast, distribute that to the world here, I'm going to have even more force structure on my life than there already is. So I'm welcoming that as a personal challenge because I think that it's only going to help, my business accelerate to the next level here. So just knowing where there are certain factors in my life that I can kind of capitalize on and, realize what can help progress further. I just want to double down on those. And, there was a recent Huberman Lab episode that there was a tool with VIA character strengths, VIA, pretty famous survey. Doesn't take that long, all free. And myself and my family did that to figure out, okay, what personality traits are you stronger in versus, weaker. My wife and I were, very low ranked in the self-regulation and prudence, which was, no surprise for those or us when we were taking it. We're very dopamine driven people, and this might come as a bit of a surprise for people who don't necessarily know me as well. I think, okay, yeah, more diligent, conscientious, and so forth. But that's only because I have to overcompensate so far in that direction to maintain that level of structure and discipline, because otherwise my life falls off the rails pretty quickly. That's just sharing a little bit more background on how I'm trying to almost box myself into consistently deliver on producing content and high value add content, and really sharing what's working for us versus what's not. So if you haven't taken that survey, I would highly recommend it. You'll probably get some insights and some laughs between yourself and those closest to you. Just to wrap up this first episode here, again, where we are at as a business, we ended 2024 at roughly 3 million top line in revenue at about 20% EBITDA. We think that we can just do more of the same to get to roughly 10 mil top line, but to get beyond that is going to require looking at different levels of assets within the land and real estate industry and being able to push more than we ever expected. I just mentioned that to kind of benchmark where we're at, both to show, okay, for those of us who might not be at a top line level that we're at here's some lessons to help kind of accelerate and get there. And then on the flip side, I'm always looking to grow, for those who are ahead of us from a top line and profit perspective. Okay, maybe, me sharing where we're at now, I can kind of glean some tips on how to, pull the future closer to us in a more accelerated manner. Because this is not a lifestyle business for us. My partners and I, we feel blessed that we were given a level of resources and kind of internal grit and capability that not many other teams are able to put together. And we feel, almost a duty to the industry to, take things as far as possible as we can in order to, both create something that we're proud of in general, as well as, being able to provide as much value as possible to, anybody who interacts with us, whether they're clients or other people trying to learn from our business and create their own lives as entrepreneurs in a difficult market, to reliably make money in a sustainable fashion. We really take that duty seriously. I mean, no surprise given given the name of our company here. And, you can kind of track our progress. Okay, are we actually able to accelerate to these higher numbers? Can we get to 10 million, 100 million? Who knows? But that is what our goals are going to be oriented around for these coming, 3-4+ decades, however long we can, keep the wheels turning here. So just to kind of benchmark where we're at the moment, and what our goals are as a company, and um, what type of issues we might be going in on a day-to-day basis, and so forth here. And so you can kind of track along on your side. Plus, from a Schadenfreude perspective too, you might be able to laugh along if it's a total train wreck, or we fail along the way. I promise I'll share regardless, or maybe you're able to cheer for us on the sidelines as well for certain wins that we get internally and that you might be able to use for your own business or even your personal life. So I'll go ahead and wrap this one up here. Again, feel free to check us out at Serious Land Capital if you have a deal that might look good for funding, or landpricer.ai for our upcoming software release. Looking forward to connecting with more of you and keeping this new project rolling. Okay, everybody, take care. Bye.